I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like beer that much.
Hey everybody, welcome in. Just trying to get used to all the controls here. Welcome back. It's Saturday. No football today, right? Tomorrow we'll have football. If you're new to my live streams, I run a channel where I basically homebrew a beer once a month and post that. And then in between the monthly brewing, I put videos about different kinds of tricks, tips, ideas about home brewing and the process. Sometimes I do a whiskey tasting on Sundays, that kind of stuff. So the last 3 or 4 Saturdays, I have been doing this like really short live stream like today, where I find a beer that hopefully everybody can get. And then we learn about it and taste it, and that's going to be fun. What's going on there, Brewing Bad? So this beer is one everybody should be able to get. This should be, you may have to go to a bottle shop. I'm not saying you can get this like in your local grocery store, but it's pretty well distributed. So it should be one that everyone can pick up and try. This one's called Chouffe Blond. And I had to look up how to pronounce that because it's Belgian and I don't know how that's pronounced. It does have, you probably can't tell across the top of the label here, a bunch of what looks like coordinates. It says like 50 and then 09 and 03 north by 5. Yeah, so I think it's coordinates. I'll have to see if I could look that up. I don't know if that's their brewery or what. Kind of interesting. What's up, Joe? Brewing a Kolsch or brewing or drinking a Kolsch? I'm thinking about doing a Kolsch after my next beer that I brew. So it's been a while since I've made one, and it's time. Paul, what's up, Paul? Oh, that's cool. Well, Paul, if you haven't seen this beer in about 10 years, that means that it's time, right? It's time to have it. Anyway, this is, as I said, a Belgian beer, made in Belgium. 8% ABV. There is a date on this one, thankfully. A lot of times they haven't been put one on, but what they've been doing on beers that I don't like is putting instead of putting a brew date, they're putting a sell-by date. It doesn't even say sell-by date, but it says October of 2026. So obviously that means that is a best by date. It has a little gnome on the front of it. And on the back, it just says it's a golden, slightly cloudy. Chouffe stands out with its rich, white, foamy head, balanced, refreshed taste, reveals subtle, spicy notes along with hints of citrus. The tasting experience finishes with a pleasant, spicy, peppery aftertaste. Cheers, Marcel. I'll explain that in a second. Let me open this. So the brewery itself is located in Chouffe, like you sneezed, Chouffe. Belgium, and I think you pronounce it Ardennes. I don't know. It could be pronounced differently, but that's the region it's made in Belgium. Started in 1972, I think. Early 1970s, anyway. And one thing I like about, you can see it is a kind of cloudy. It's not a super clear beer. Already, I'm getting a lot of aroma off of it. What do you want to see? The bottle? But look at the head on that. That's like at least a 2-finger head, tight foam. It's even got a little bit of a dome. I can't really show you because I don't have an overhead shot, but yeah, really good, thick white head on it. Nice. So 1970s, these two brother-in-laws were making beer in their garage. Oh, so it smells exactly what I expected. I'll explain that in a second. Remember, I haven't had this one, I don't think. So these two brother-in-laws are making beer in their garage, and they decide to go like big with it, right? To make a commercial go at it. So in 1982, they brewed their first 49 liters of their first commercially made beer, La Chouffe. I don't know if it was the blonde, but the brand anyway they made. So it started off like for a lot of people in brewing as like a weekend project you do in your garage, became basically Belgium's smallest officially registered brewery, La Chouffe. Should I talk about the gnome? No, I'll talk about the gnome in a minute here. Well, maybe I'll get to it. So a lot of Belgian breweries, they make beers that are related to the abbeys, and they have monks or abbey imagery. Let me take this off so I can see my screen. There we go. But in this case, they didn't do that with La Chouffe. They don't. Well, obviously, it's not an abbey ale or anything. The founders decided to make this gnome their mascot. Now, apparently, there is some folklore in the Ardennes, if I'm saying that right, area of Belgium, where there's these local legends about forest sprites called Newtons. So that's where the gnome comes from. And this particular gnome, just like it was saying on the back here, is named Marcel. Marcel the gnome is the mascot for La Chouffe. Anyway. So here, I got to try. Well, let me tell you what I'm smelling. I'm smelling lemon. You're getting the typical Belgian yeast flavors. You're definitely getting like the banana esters, like pear, definitely pear, which I'm not a huge fan of pear, to be honest with you. But I don't get so much a clove smell, so it's not really strong on the phenols, smell-wise. Well, it's got really strong carbonation. Those aromas that I was just smelling also carry through pretty strongly in the flavor. Pear, citrus, banana. I'm not really, I guess there's some pepperiness to it. But what really, I think, makes this beer, gives this beer the flavor that it has, is coriander. The same ingredient, I think, that's in wit beer, right, is in this. So coriander is going to give you that like orange citrusy flavor. It's kind of peppery and woodsy. If they toast the coriander, it would make it really nutty. I'm not tasting a lot of nuttiness, so I don't know that they actually toast them, but that's sort of the key to this beer. And I'm going to get to that in a second here. So in 1992, they expanded their production so they could meet demand. And then by 1999, they were voted the beer of the century in the Netherlands. Now, I thought that was kind of weird because they had not brewed in the Netherlands. But apparently they're very popular there. So that's why they got this, I don't know if it's an award or just, somebody declared they're the best beer of the century. But in 2006, they joined another brewing company, and I don't know if that means that they were bought out, but Duvel, I guess Duvel is how you pronounce it, purchased them and helped them with their global expansion. The nice thing is they've continued to brew with the same Belgian, brewing character. Duvel, I'll probably get some of their beers to try on here in the coming months or weeks or whatever, but they're a big brand. So today, thanks to Duvel, Le Chouffe, that's such a weird name, it's exported to 70 or more countries, remains the benchmark for Belgian strong blonde ales. It is 8%, like I said earlier, but honestly, you can't really tell it. I mean, normally with an 8% beer, you get quite a bit of alcohol, kind of ethanol burn and heat, and I don't get that at all. So as far as that goes, it's pretty smooth. It is bottle conditioned, and so the carbonation is pretty high on it. It's I'd say medium body, good mouthfeel. It is drying. It's probably to do with that Belgian yeast, but because it's dry, it leaves your mouth dry, and then you want to just keep like drinking more of it. Might be a good method to sell beer, right? Well, anyway, as I said, the coriander is kind of what makes this beer unique. And the interesting thing about that is it didn't originally have coriander in it. So you might have heard of another famous brewery. I'm trying to think of the name of them. Hoegaarden. They make a really famous Kolsch, I believe, right? The founder of Hoegaarden is the ones that said, "Hey, you need to put coriander, in your beer," and so they did. And that at that point, it became like one of the defining traits of their particular, this particular beer. Other Belgian strong ales maybe wouldn't have that in it. I'd be honest with you, I'm not super fan of the coriander. It gives it a weird, I don't know, just sort of an offness to it that I don't really love. I think that's the pepper, what they're referring to as pepperiness. Don't love it. I don't rate these beers. I'm just going to try them on here in the live stream and, try to get some history on them. But I would say, out of the ones I've tried so far, anyway, on the live streams here, this one is not the worst, but it's probably towards the bottom end for me. I like the effervescence of it, and it's not like it's got any off flavors or anything, but I just think the coriander is what's throwing me off. I don't really love that about it. What else can I tell you? I think that's about it. Yeah, there's not much more to say about it. It comes in these funny little stubby bottles that has they're short with a little stubby thing here. And they are, since they're European, of course, they're using, those measurements over there in Europe. They're not using our freedom units. So 11.2 ounces, it's a weird, so it's less. Anytime you get a beer from Europe, it's almost always less beer in the bottle than we would get here in the US. Not by a ton. What's up, beer boy? Yeah, effervescence. Texture cleaner. No, I hope not. No, I mean, it's bottle conditioned. And anytime you bottle condition a beer, I feel like it usually tends to have really strong carbonation. For a lot of beers, I find that really good. But there are certain styles, stouts and stuff that maybe you don't want to have it to be super highly effervescent, right? You want to have it a little less. But it works well with this one. It's light, dry, and crisp, so that works well. I just can't get away from that the coriander. The lemon sort of citrus flavor it gives from that is okay. There's just something about the pepperiness, from that coriander, that just doesn't set right with me. And it is super drying, this beer. Anyway, I like it, but I don't know that I would get it again on purpose. I would like to try some of their other, versions and see how they taste. But before I get to that, I've got a couple. Remember, I got a pack, 3 Belgian beers plus a glass. It's somewhere behind me, the big. What do they call those? Chalice glasses, right? I came with that, so I've got those 3 to try on the next several live streams, and then I'm good. Do they use Belgian candy sugar? I don't know. I don't know what their recipe is. It could be. It could have Belgian candy sugar that drives up the ABV. That's probably a good probability. That would also dry it out even more. So despite the yeast itself drying it out, if they added that sugar, it's going to make it even drier. Yeah, it's pretty dry beer, kind of like a saison, you know. Anyway, let's try this again. I want to try playing a little mini video. I can never get these to go full screen, so we'll see what happens here.
Pour it into the glass, swirl it around, as I said to you before, throw it out. Swirl it around, bring it up and say, hello. Then you go back to it. How are you? And then go back to it. Quite well. Thank you very much. You want to get right into it to make sure that you're actually examining every part of that whiskey.
Okay, now I broke it. Ah, there we go. I don't know. This streaming software is kind of all over the place. I just like that video clip. I love that guy. I have some of their whiskey behind me here. You can't see it probably a little bit, but that's the guy from Dalmore. I just love it. I'm assuming some of that's a little tongue-in-cheek, you know, as far as sticking your nose in there that far. But what are you saying? Coriander is the seed for cilantro. Yes, it is. But what else did you say? Cilantro has a bit of an herbal funk. Yeah, but the seed is not the same as the leaf. For example, some people get like a soapy flavor from the cilantro. That is not something that comes through on the seed. They are, even though it's the same, like, you know, plant, it definitely is a different flavor you get from the seed that you get from the green, you know, plant of it. I don't know. I think that's why I haven't made another wit beer for a while. Is I guess I could always just leave it out, but I mean, traditionally wit beer is going to have that in it, and I just don't love that. It ruins a wheat beer for me if it has coriander. I don't know. Like if I were to make a Belgian strong ale, I would just make it without the coriander, and it would probably get a lot of frowns from people who are purists. But yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't love it. Oh, what are we talking about here? Marijuana. Marijuana seeds. I've never tasted marijuana seeds, so I don't know. But I'll take your word for it. Yeah. Middle fruit. Cook a fair amount with cilantro. Yeah, but cilantro is different than the seeds. Yeah, you can definitely get. I mean, I think it's genetic, right? Some people get that soapy flavor from cilantro. I don't, but I can kind of see why you might. But from what I hear is if you're somebody who gets that flavor from cilantro, you can't ever really get over it. It's always going to have that flavor to you. So I can definitely see why some people don't like it. Anyway, I think that's all I got. I got to go clean a fermenter, clean my kegerator. Then I'm going to have to move the beer that's going to be ready in about a week over to the kegerator so I can start carbonating it. Got a few things to do with that beer. And then next week, I'm going to start working on my next beer. So anyway, good to see you, Joe. I'll be back for a live stream, hopefully in a week. I haven't been doing it always on a Saturday because sometimes I'm off doing other things, so it's hard to do it on a Saturday. Sundays are rough because you have to work on Monday, and this is probably not even a good time. I should probably do these later in the day, like, I don't know, 5 o'clock, but there's a lot of other streams going on around that time that compete, so I'll just probably stick with this, either Saturday or Sunday. I like doing this today because the football game is tomorrow. I don't want to interrupt with the football game, and I want to watch that anyway. So anyway, you'll see me back here next weekend probably, either Saturday or Sunday. Actually, yeah, trying to think when the Super Bowl's like another 2 or 3 weeks away, right? All right, well, I'm going to end this, and I'll see you guys next time.